If you wouldn't have used my whole family on the first part of Scrappy and Chaotic TV, you came to my mama's house at my daughter's birthday party, where Erica and my mama, everybody liked to watch. You came over there with all your little cameras and stuff like that, and we made it. We said this is our first episode. This for our first episode. Not only he do that, he kept everywhere I was at. He right there filming me doing all this shit because he had to use me to get it up there. That's why it's up there now, because I was there. I was present. Now, when it came to my kids, I can't be there for you, homie. I can't be there when you making plans because you ain't got no kids. You ain't got no kids. So you gonna goddamn go and do whatever you gotta do, up, jumping, and running in the morning.
The night everything changed for Lil Scrappy didn't start with flashing lights or hospital sirens. It started like any other evening. Calm, ordinary, almost peaceful. Nobody around him had any idea that within a few hours, their world would flip upside down.
On social media, not no man anyway, as soon as they get into a confrontation, it was a confrontation. It was a confrontation. And I know Bam told me, I know Smiles told me not to come on here, told me to go on my YouTube page, but I'm gonna put the real shit on my YouTube page tonight. But the thing in the morning, however we do that shit. But on another note, bro, like, you had to be the one to come out. I want to knock it out. I just want to f it out. Cause you've been doing too much, what they call it, dirty macking. You know what I'm saying? Even on the TV shows, every time you get a chance, you saying something negative about it. You know?
And if you ask anyone close to him today, they'll tell you the same thing. They still hear the echoes of that night in their minds. Because sometimes life doesn't give warnings. It just takes a sharp turn and suddenly you're fighting for breath, fighting for hope, and fighting for time. People who saw the news couldn't believe it. One minute he was posting, laughing, living his life. The next minute he was lying in an ICU bed, machines surrounding him, his family holding on to faith as if it was the only thing keeping his heart beating. And the truth is, what happened behind those hospital doors was more terrifying than anyone could have imagined.
Parenting right now, this ain't got nothing to do with co-parenting. Our kids ain't here. This is
definitely co-parenting.
This is not co-parenting.
This is definitely co-parenting. We both just talked to our kids.
We did, but this is not co-parenting. This is coexisting. This is co-working.
We not even working right now.
We off the clock, but we still at work.
I'm not at work. I ain't doing shit.
I'm at work because we can't leave and go nowhere, because if we leave and go somewhere, we fired. So we're at work.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we at work. You right. Nigga, you right.
I know. Shit. We is on the clock. Okay, they got all the employees there.
But here's the twist. The physical battle wasn't the only fight he was facing. The emotional war around him was just as intense. Lil Scrappy's story didn't begin with fame, cameras, or hit songs. It began in a struggle. He grew up surrounded by challenges that many people never experience. His childhood was shaped by survival. Every day was about making it through, staying strong, and proving that he belonged in a world that often tried to push him down. He learned early that life could be cruel, and that pain could come from the people you trusted the most. He watched his family go through ups and downs, financial stress, emotional storms, and moments when hope seemed far away. But those hardships built his resilience. They gave him the fire that later fueled his career. Music became his escape, his therapy, and his voice. Through every lyric, he poured out his frustration, his dreams, and the wounds he carried deep inside. Fans connected with him because he wasn't pretending. He was real. He spoke about things that many were too afraid to say.
Okay. Now I'm okay. Boss women, that's how they do you. That's how they do you. They some kind of way.
He make more money than me.
When he stepped into the spotlight, it looked like a dream come true. Fame, success, recognition. But the reality was far more complicated. The pressure of staying relevant, the expectations from fans, and the constant public attention slowly began to take a toll. He had to balance his personal life while the world watched his every move. Relationships became harder. Trust became fragile. Every argument, every misunderstanding, every emotional breakdown could become public within minutes. And then came the reality TV era. Cameras followed his life, capturing moments of love, tension, heartbreak, and conflict. The world saw his struggles and relationships, the disagreements, the emotional confrontations. People judged him without knowing the full story. But what nobody expected was how deeply those experiences affected his mental and emotional health. He carried the weight silently. The pressure to stay strong never left him. Even when he smiled, there were battles inside. Even when he laughed, there was pain he rarely showed. And those close to him noticed the changes, the stress, the exhaustion, the moments when he seemed distant, as if his mind was somewhere else. But life moved forward. He focused on family, he tried to rebuild. He wanted stability, he wanted peace. And for a while, it looked like he was finally finding it. Social media showed happy moments, celebrations, and love. Fans believed he was in a better place. Then came that night. It started with discomfort. At first, he brushed it off. He thought it was stress, fatigue, maybe something minor. But the pain didn't go away. It grew stronger. His body began sending signals he couldn't ignore. Breathing became difficult. His chest tightened. The room felt smaller, and suddenly, fear replaced denial. The people around him saw the change immediately. Panic filled the air. Calls were made, voices shook. Time felt slower and faster at the same time. And when the ambulance arrived, reality hit hard. This wasn't something simple. This was serious. Inside the emergency room, everything moved quickly. Doctors rushed. Nurses spoke in urgent tones. Tests were ordered. Machines beeped. And in the middle of that chaos, Lil Scrappy lay there, trying to understand how his life had reached this moment. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. The situation was worse than anyone expected. His condition became critical. Within hours, he was moved to the ICU, and that's when fear truly took over. His family stood outside the room, helpless. They couldn't fix this. They couldn't fight this for him. All they could do was wait, pray, and hope. And those hours felt like days. His mother was devastated. She had seen him survive so much in life, but this was different. This was out of her control. She spoke to him even when he couldn't respond. She held his hand, reminding him of who he was, reminding him that he had too much to live for. Friends began arriving. Some cried, some stayed silent, some blamed themselves for not noticing signs earlier. Regrets filled the room. Questions echoed. How did this happen? Could it have been prevented? Why now? But what nobody expected was the emotional tension that surfaced during this crisis. Old wounds, past conflicts, and unresolved issues began to resurface. Stress has a way of revealing truth, and in those moments, emotions ran high. Some family members disagreed about decisions. Others brought up past betrayals. There were arguments in quiet hallways, whispers filled with frustration and fear. Because when someone's life is hanging by a thread, everything becomes intense. Every word feels heavier. Every emotion feels sharper. And yet, despite the conflict, there was also unity. People who hadn't spoken in years came together. Differences didn't matter anymore. The only thing that mattered was his survival. Fans watched from a distance, shocked and heartbroken. Social media filled with messages of support. Prayers poured in from around the world. Strangers shared stories about how his music helped them through dark times. And for the first time, many realized how deeply he had touched lives. But the most emotional moment came when updates revealed just how serious the situation was. Doctors warned the family that the next few hours would be critical. There were no guarantees. Inside the ICU, machines monitored every breath, every heartbeat. Silence filled the room, broken only by the sound of medical equipment. And in that stillness, time felt fragile. What nobody saw was the internal battle he was fighting. The human body is powerful, but it can also be vulnerable. And in those moments, strength becomes a quiet and visible war. The emotional impact of this crisis reached far beyond the hospital walls. His loved ones were forced to confront reality. Fame couldn't protect him. Money couldn't stop pain. Success couldn't guarantee tomorrow. His partner struggled to stay strong. She had to reassure others while holding back her own fear. She thought about their future, their plans, the promises they made. The idea of losing him felt unbearable. His children became the silent motivation. Every person in that hospital knew he needed to come back for them. Their innocence, their love, their dependence on him became the driving force behind every prayer. The situation also forced deep reflection. Life is unpredictable. Moments we take for granted can disappear overnight. And for those close to him, this became a wake-up call. They began to rethink priorities. Relationships that once seemed complicated suddenly felt precious. Arguments that once seemed important now felt meaningless. And slowly, hope began to grow. Small signs of improvement brought relief. Doctors shared cautious optimism, and with every positive update, the family felt strength returning. But the emotional scars remained. The fear they experienced didn't vanish. It stayed with them, changing how they viewed life. The powerful truth behind this story isn't just about illness. It's about resilience. It's about the fragile line between strength and vulnerability. It's about the way crises reveal who truly stands beside you. And maybe that's why this moment touched so many people, because everyone, in some way, understands the fear of losing someone they love. Everyone has faced moments of uncertainty. As the days passed, recovery became the focus. But healing isn't only physical, it's emotional, it's mental, it's spiritual. This experience transformed him. It reminded him that life isn't guaranteed. It made him appreciate the people who stood by him. It gave him a new perspective. And here's the lesson that stayed with everyone involved. Sometimes the hardest battles don't happen in public. They happen in quiet hospital rooms, in whispered prayers, in tears that nobody sees. But those battles shape us. They bring clarity. They remind us what truly matters. The story doesn't end in the ICU. It continues in every decision he makes, every relationship he protects, every moment he values. Because survival isn't just about staying alive. It's about living differently after you face the possibility of losing everything. And maybe that's the real message here. Life is fragile, love is powerful, and strength is often found in the moments when we feel weakest. So, as fans, friends, and family continue to support him, one thing is clear. This fight changed more than his health. It changed hearts. It changed priorities. It changed the future. And if there's one thing this journey proves, it's that resilience isn't loud. It's quiet. It's patient. It's the determination to keep going even when the outcome is uncertain. Because in the end, the greatest victories are the ones nobody sees. The battles fought in silence, the courage built in pain, and the hope that refuses to fade even in the darkest nights.